Good morning, grade 3 students. How are you? I hope you are fine. This is our English lecture number 10, week 13. So what do we have in this lecture? The objectives that are going to be covered in this lecture are as follows. By the end of this lecture, students will be able to read and spell words with long A, use vocab words in sentences, identify features of biography genre, answer comprehension questions about the lesson. So these are the objectives that are going to be covered. As you can see, we have a phonics lesson and we have a reading lesson, and of course before we start the reading we have 8 vocabulary words, and after the reading we are going to identify the features of biography genre. So as you can see in this PowerPoint, the slides are divided as follows. The first part, I have the phonics, long A. You have to practice the pages in the ISI booklet. These are the pages 92, 93 and 94. The vocabulary words are design, encouraged, examine, investigation, quality, simple, solution, substitutes. We are going to learn the meaning of these words word by word in the second part of this lecture. In the third part, we're going to read the lesson, Mary Anderson's Great Invention. You have to practice reading the lesson, pages 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, and 75. And at last, you have to solve the worksheet number 9. You have to solve it. If possible, please try to solve it before our Zoom session. Okay, now let's start with our first part, the phonics. As I said, the phonics is about long A. Long A. When I say long A in a word, it means I will say the name of the letter and not the sound of the letter. Okay, so what do I mean? Let's see. In long A, sometimes there are words with long A. These words, they have AI, AY, A, consonant then E, EIGH, or EY. So what do we mean here? I mean that some words have the long A sound, okay, and this long A sound comes in different forms. Sometimes it can be with the letters A and I, as you can see here in the words plain, braid, fail, grain, snail, paint, afraid. And some other times the long A sound can be heard can be formed when I have A and Y, letter A and letter Y, usually at the end of the word, as in sway, tray, gray, and stay. And there's this form that is familiar to you, is when you have A, then consonant, then final E, as in state, fake, and same. Sometimes also the long A sound can be found when I have the letters EI or EIGH together, as in way and slay. And the last one, the last form we are going to learn is when we have E and Y, as in the word they, can be also obey. Okay, I'm giving you an extra word. So let's now learn the meanings of these words. I have in the first group long A spelled AI, as in plain. Now plain means not colorful. For example, like this butterfly, the color, or this is a plain butterfly, it means it's made of one color only. Plain means simple, okay, not complicated, not more than one. The other word I have braid. As you can see, braid is a hairstyle as the braid that is here. Number 3, I have the word fail. Fail is like when someone fails the test. It means like when you get an F on the test. And the last one is the word grain. Grain can be wheat or rice or lentils. So this is, we call it grain. Grain. Next, we are still in the group of A and I. I have now the words snail. Snail. This is a picture of a snail. It's a type of bugs. Snail. Next, I have paint. Paint can be used as like when you refer to paint or when you paint. So it can be used as a noun or as a verb. Paint. And the next word is the word afraid. Afraid means scared. Afraid means scared. Next, I have words with AY at the end, as in sway. To sway means to move from side to side. Okay, this is the word sway. Okay, sway, it's a verb. For example, here you can see the wheat sways because of the wind, for example. The next word, I have the word tray. A tray is what you keep the what holds the food. Okay, you can use the tray to serve food, for example. Next, I have the word gray. Gray is a color. For example, this kitten is gray, or the color of this kitten is gray. And the last word is stay. As you can see, this man is holding a poster that says stay at home. It means to stay in your place, to remain in your place. Now I have words with A, then consonant, then final E. For example, I have the word state. A state is a country or a city. State. Next word, I have the word fake. Fake. Fake, it means not real. For example, this is a fake plant. It means it is not real. And the last word is the word same. As you can see here, I have the same shape. These are two rectangular shapes, and they are the same color and same size. Now I have the words with EIGH and EY, as in weigh. Weigh here is a verb. You can say weigh is to measure, like to measure the weight. You can say like that. How do you measure the weight? You use a balance. So I weigh, or you can say, for example, I'm going to weigh this box, for example. Sleigh, as in Santa Claus's sleigh. And the last word is the word they. As you can see, I have EY at the end. So they here is a pronoun, and it is used to point or to talk about a group of people. We say they. So now, what are we going to do next? We are going to practice these words. We're going to use them in sentences and practice their meanings. Let's practice. Now we are going to practice the phonics word, the spelling words. I have the word snail, gray, state, grain, braid. Write a spelling word that goes with the other two words. It's like find a word that belongs to the group. Number 1, black, brown. Now these two words, they are colors. So which word here also a color? It is the word gray. Gray. So I use gray. Number 2, I have city, country. Which word here means city and country? Is it snail or state or grain or braid? It is the word state. Number 3, I have the word worm or slug. Which word means a worm or slug? It is the word snail. Belongs to the same group. Number 4, I have curl or twist. Which word means curl or twist? It is the word braid. Number 5, I have wheat and rice. Which word belongs to the same group? It is the word grain. Write the spelling word that best completes each sentence. Number 6, I like blank vanilla ice cream. So which word here goes in the blank? Here, he likes vanilla ice cream. They mean they like plain vanilla ice cream. It means without anything added to it. Number 7, I didn't blank the test because I studied. So when you study, you will not what? Fail. I did not fail. I hope to what my room a pretty blue. Here he wants to paint the room a pretty blue color. So the word is paint. As the wind blew, the wheat began to what? Gently. So what happens to the wheat when the wind blew or blows? The wheat will sway, means move from side to side. We have to what inside until it stops raining? We have to stay inside until it stops raining. We are so much alike, we even have the what birthday? Which word means alike? It is the word same. We have the same birthday. Do you think blank will win the race? Do you think, which word here? I have way or fake or they or a tray. So here, do you think they will win the race? Number 13, we placed all the cookies on a large, something that is used to hold food. It's the word tray. So I use the tray and they. Number 14, he said that the stone was a diamond, but we think it was, I have way or fake. Of course it was fake. It means unreal. We had to measure and what the fossil we found and weigh. It means we had to find its weight. So the first word in our vocabulary list is the word design. When you design something, you make a plan. Okay, it means you make a plan of it. For example, Jake and Andy are helping to design a picture for the school's new wall. So here, so when you design, it means you can sketch something or you are making a plan. Put this word in your mind. To design is to make a plan. You can make a plan. Okay, you can decorate also. Design, it can also mean decorate. So as you can see here, this is the word design. I want you to read it with me. Design. Design. Okay, so as you can see in the picture here, we have these kids and they are helping each other to design a picture for the school's new wall. Now the next word that I have is the word encouraged. When you are encouraged, you are given hope to do something. You are giving hope to do something. For example, my teacher encouraged us to eat healthy snacks. So when someone, as you can see in the picture here, we have this teacher and he's offering his students a snack made of oranges. So he's trying to encourage them to eat healthy food rather than serving them candies or chips or any other kind of junk food. He's actually encouraging them to eat healthy food. So this is the word encouraged. Encouraged means to give hope to do something. Okay, let's move on to the next word. Next, I have the word examine. examine. Examine, when people examine something, they look at it very carefully. As you can see in the picture, I have here the vet, and the vet is examining the dog. For the sentence that can be used is, the vet will examine my dog to make sure he is healthy. So here examine is like, it's like checking. You look closely, you look carefully to find an error, okay? To find a mistake, to find the problem. This is when you examine something. So the word here is examine. Examine means to check. Let's move on. We have the word investigation. Investigation. To investigate something, people would search carefully for something. As you can see here, we have the boy. Let's name him Tom. Tom did a careful investigation of the spider web in his yard. So when you investigate, it means you look carefully. You search carefully for something, okay? You investigate. Probably you investigate because you have a question and you are looking for answers. This is when we say investigation. You are doing an investigation. It's like you're doing a research. You have a question in your mind and you want to find, or you want to know the answer of that question. Next word, I have the word quality. Quality. Quality items are made of the finest products. For example, a good quality helmet helps keep me safe. So it's very important that when you buy a helmet, it has to be of the finest products. It means it should not be fake. Okay, it has to be good quality. Not only helmets, probably other products as well, especially those that are related to safety. Okay, so quality means good quality. You have heard this word. I'm sure you've heard this word before. Usually, good quality products are more expensive than the fake ones, but they are better than the fake ones, of course. As I said, especially if you are trying to buy something which is related to your safety, such as the helmet that you're going to wear when you go hiking, biking, or any other activity. Next, I have the word. This is a simple word, and it is the word simple. When something is simple, it is easy to do. For example, walking my dog is simple and easy way to have fun. So as you can see here, this lady is walking her dog, and this is a really simple task, simple thing to do, and it can be very fun as well. So simple, it means easy to do. For example, some students may say reading English is simple, but others may say it's not simple. I hope it's simple for all of you. Next, I have the word solution. Solution means, or a solution is a way to fix a problem. A solution is a way to fix a problem. It can also be an answer to a question. Okay, for example, Marco found a solution that helped him get better grades. As you can see here, Marco is solving his worksheet, or Marco is studying hard. He's really focused. He looks like he's really focused. So he found a solution to increase or to improve his grades. A solution here, it means like when you fix a problem, when you want to fix a problem, then you will look for a solution. The last word that I have is the word substitutes. Substitutes. Substitutes take the place of something else. Okay, it's like a backup plan. A substitute takes the place of something else. For example, we can say healthy snacks can be a substitute for popcorn and candy if you want. As you can see here, this girl is eating watermelon. So she's using healthy snacks as a substitute for popcorn and candies, and this is a good thing to do. So the last word is the word substitutes. Substitutes is like, as I told you, take the place of something else. Let me give you an example. For example, when the main teacher is absent, another teacher will cover her place. This other teacher, we call her substitute teacher. Substitute teacher. As I said, you can also refer to it as a backup plan. Now that we have finished with our vocabulary words, we are going to practice using them in sentences or practice their meanings, okay? So what is my advice for you? In the worksheet, you can open after you have watched the part about vocabulary. You can now go to the worksheet and try to solve the part about vocabulary in the worksheet. Use a word from the box to answer each question, then use the word in a sentence. Here I have the words quality, solution, design, investigation. Number 1, what is another word for a careful search for something? Careful search for something is the word investigation. How can I use it in a sentence? For example, I can say the girl did a careful investigation of the nest she found. It means she looked for information of the nest that she found. Number 2, how might you describe a product that is well made? Something that is well made, it means it is of good quality. As a sentence, I can say the chair was made using quality wood. You can use the same way or the same sentence, only change the thing. Like you can say, for example, the table was made using quality wood, if you want to. Number 3, what word might describe an answer to a problem? An answer to a problem is the word solution. How can I use it in a sentence? For example, she worked hard to find a solution to the difficult math problem. So she worked hard to find a solution, you can say, to her problem if you want to. Number 4, what would you be doing if you were to create a plan? To create a plan or make a plan means to design. How can I use it in a sentence? I can say, is it hard to design a tall building? I can use it in the form of question. Still practicing the vocabulary words, I have the word encouraged, examine, substitutes, and the word simple. Number 5, when you inspect something closely, what do? You are checking it or examine. As a sentence, I can say the doctor will examine the patient when she arrives. Number 6, what is another word for given hope to do something? When someone gives you hope to do something, it means he is encouraging you. As a sentence, I can say, it was helpful when the teacher encouraged us to do our best. Number 7, what do you call things that take the place of other things? When something takes the place of other thing, we say this is a substitute. For example, the new teachers were substitutes for the ones that retired. Retired means quit their job. So the new teachers were substitutes for the ones that retired. And the last one, what is another word for easy? It is the word simple. For example, it was simple to follow the recipe in the cookbook. Now that we have practiced the vocabulary words, we're going to move on to reading. In the reading, this reading lesson is about Mary Anderson's Great Invention. Now, this lesson is real. The story has actually happened. So we call it, this is a biography. the genre of this lesson is biography. Let's start reading. You might think that a ride in a bus or car is the same today as it was long ago. That isn't true. The first cars were not as fast. They were noisy. Cars didn't even have windshield wipers. When it rained, drivers rubbed their windshields with an onion. The oil from the onion would repel or keep off rain and sleet. It wasn't the best solution, but there were no better substitutes. Nothing else worked. Then a woman named Mary Anderson solved the problem. So here I can ask you, for example, how were cars different long time ago? We can say that old cars were not fast. See, they were not fast, and they were noisy. This is another difference. And they didn't have windshields or windshield wipers. So this is how old cars differ from new cars. Okay, there's something that happened here. I can ask you, for example, why did the drivers use onion? You see, here they said they used to rub the windshields with onion. Why? Because the oil from the onion would repel or keep off rain and sleet. So they used the onion because the oil from the onion used to keep off the rain and the sleet. It wasn't the best solution. It means for this problem, the onion or onion oil wasn't the best answer, but there were no better substitutes. It means there were no other things that can do the same job or take the place of the onion oil. Let's see what will happen next.
And now, illuminating moments in American history. It was a fateful day in 1903 when the mother of all invention met Mother Nature. It was a snowy, icy mess on the streets of New York City, and Mary Anderson had a mother of an idea during her trip from Alabama into the Big Apple. As Anderson watched from her trolley seat, anyone driving a car was frequently forced to stop and get out to clean off the windshield because there was no such thing as a windshield wiper. She even got a blast of cold air every time the guy driving the trolley opened the window and stuck his head out to see where he was going. Even your dog wouldn't stick his head out in that weather. Anyway, as the snow changed over to sleet, Mary's plans that day changed too, and she started sketching ways to solve that messy dilemma. She produced several designs, and after lots of failure, Mary was feeling pretty wiped out. But persistence paid off, sort of. Her favorite design could be activated by the driver from inside a vehicle, so no more open-air shouting matches with Old Man Winter. It used a lever attached to a spring-loaded arm with a rubber blade that swung across the windshield, wiping off all the yuck in the process. Others had tried something like it before, but her system was a winner, sort of. She received a patent, but people scoffed at what they said was her accident-causing distraction. Fast forward a few years later to Henry Ford's Model T, making car ownership more popular, and the need for windshield wipers became really clear, and eventually standard equipment. By then, Mary's patent had expired, and while she never made a dime from it, she at least knew that her invention was saving lives. So hindsight is indeed 20/20, especially if you had those fancy schmancy rear window wipers.
So now that we have watched a short video about windshield wipers, we are going to continue reading. We have the heading here. It started with snow. This is how all the story started. Mary Anderson grew up in Alabama. In the winter of 1902, she went to New York City. So this story happened in winter 1902. This is the time, and the place is in New York City. It was a cold and windy day. The sky was a gray curtain. Snow was a white blanket on the ground. Mary was cold and wet. Because she wanted to warm up and get dry, she rode a streetcar. Back then, some streetcar windshields had two parts. It means this is, let's assume that this is the car. Okay, this is the windshield of the car. The windshields, they were made of two parts. Okay, maybe cut from here, for example, just like the window in your room probably. And they opened with a push. So the driver who is driving the car, he used to push the windshield, okay, this part for example, in order to open it. From her seat, Mary watched snow and ice build up on the windshield. The streetcar driver could not see, so he pushed open the windshield. This helped him to see better. As a result, snow and ice blew in his face. Why? Because he had to open the windshield. Soon his nose and ears were ice cubes. Other cars kept stopping too. Sometimes the drivers hopped out. They wiped off their windshields, then they got back in and drove. As a result, traffic moved slowly. Now we have to answer this question. What was the problem with the streetcars? What was the problem with the streetcars? The streetcars had no windshield wipers. How did this problem affect the drivers and the traffic? We can say that the drivers had to stop in order to clean the windshield, and because of that their ears and their noses and ears were ice cubes, and because cars kept stopping, the traffic moved slowly. So in order to find the answer of this question, you have to pick bits from these three paragraphs and put them in one full sentence. The next step. Mary thought about this problem. How could drivers clean their windshields without stopping? She started to ask herself all these questions. Could they do it without opening their windshields? So she's trying to solve this problem by asking questions. Back home in Alabama, Mary sketched her idea. So she made a design. Then she added notes. She wanted to examine her solution to make sure that it worked. Next, Mary did her own investigation. She looked for facts about what the drivers needed. She invented a windshield wiper that a driver could use from inside the car. Then she worked out a design or plan. On paper, Mary's invention looked simple. She hoped drivers would find it easy to use. Now you can see here, this is a diagram of Mary Anderson's windshield wiper. This is the windshield, and this is the wiper that she planned or she designed. The first windshield wiper was moved by a handle inside the car. Now these are, as you can see here in this box, I have put in box the questions that led to Mary's invention. It's very important to ask questions. Mary had a model built. It was made of quality, means of good quality, wood, rubber, and metal. Soon the model was ready to test. It was fitted on a windshield. The driver moved a handle inside the car. The handle caused a blade to move back and forth across the glass. It worked. Mary's idea was a gem. It means it was precious. It was one of its kind. She felt encouraged and was sure it would sell. Solving the problem. Mary's windshield wipers solved a problem, but it took many years before people used them. Why? That's because most people did not own cars. So back then, most people didn't have cars. That's why she couldn't benefit from her invention. But by 1913, more people bought and drove cars. Those cars had windshields. Finally, windshield wipers began to sell. Driving became safer and easier because of Mary Anderson's idea. Do you see these two sentences? This is why Mary's invention was a gem. Now I have something that I would like to share with you. I want you to bring a piece of paper and a pencil. Probably you can use your English notebooks. I want you to make this table, write verb and then write the past form of it. And then I want you to write the title of the lesson, Mary Anderson's Great Invention. Here write the title on the top of the page. Now what are these? First, let's see in this paragraph, I want you to find with me the verb and its form in the past. For example, here the word might, this verb, this is in the past. Now the original form of this verb is may. So may becomes might. Now I want you to make a list. It's just like an extra thing to do. There's no need to memorize these words. I just want you to keep a record of the words that we are going to read, and they are in their past form. They are in their irregular past form. Okay, so in this paragraph, there is only the word may becomes might. I will move on to the second one. Mary Anderson grew up in Alabama. So I have here the word grew. I wrote it here. Grow becomes grew. In the winter of 1902, she went. So went also in past. The base word is go becomes went. It was a cold and windy day. The sky was a gray curtain. Snow was a white blanket on the ground. Mary was cold and wet. Because she wanted to warm up and get dry, she rode a streetcar. So rode, the verb is ride and becomes rode in the past. Back then, some streetcar windshields had two parts. They opened with a push. From her seat, Mary watched snow and ice build up on the windshield. The streetcar driver could not see, so he pushed open the windshield. This helped him to see better. As a result, snow and ice blew. So blew also, this is an irregular verb in the past. Its form is blow. It becomes blew in the past. Soon his nose and ears were icy cubes. Other cars kept. Kept also is in the past. It should be keep in the base form. It becomes kept in the past. Kept stopping too. Sometimes the drivers hopped out. They wiped off their windshields. Then they got back in and drove. So here I have got. It should be the base form is get. It becomes got in the past. You can add it to the list. I have missed it. And here I have the word drove. Of course it is drive, but in the past it becomes drove. As a result, traffic moved slowly. So it's good. It's a nice activity. We are rereading the lesson. Let's start. Mary thought. So thought, this is in the past. It is think in the base form and becomes thought in the past. About this problem. How could drivers clean their windshields without stopping? Could they do it without opening their windshield? Back home in Alabama, Mary sketched her idea. Then she added notes. She wanted to examine her solution to make sure that it worked. Next, Mary did her own investigation. She looked for facts about what the drivers needed. She invented a windshield wiper that a driver could use from inside the car. Then she worked out a design or plan on paper. Mary's invention looked simple. She hoped the drivers would find it easy to use. So we do not have any other verb in past. Let's move to the last one. Mary had a model built. So here build with a D. In the past it becomes with a T. It was made. Made also is in the past. At first it was make, and in the past it's changed to made. Of quality wood, rubber, and metal. Soon the model was ready to test. It was fitted on a windshield. The driver moved a handle inside the car. The handle caused a blade to move back and forth across the glass. It worked. Mary's idea was a gem. She felt, so the base verb is feel and becomes felt in the past. Encouraged and was sure it would sell. Solving the problem. Mary's windshield wiper solved the problem, but it took. So took is in the past. It's take in the past becomes took. Many years before people used them. That's because most people did not own cars. By 1913, more people bought. So bought is the past of buy. Buy becomes bought in the past. And drove. Also drove is the past of drive. Those cars had windshields. Finally, windshield wipers began. Began is the past of begin. To sell. Driving became. So also became is the past of what? Of become. Safer and easier because of Mary Anderson's idea. So these are the irregular past forms that are mentioned in this lesson. What is the genre of this lesson is biography. What do I mean by biography? It tells a true story. It means it really happened of a real person's life. It means Mary Anderson is a real person. She actually existed in 1903 and is written by another person, but it's not Mary Anderson who wrote this story, it's someone else. That's why I call it biography. Is told in sequence or time order. If you remember, they said in 1903 this and this happened, and then later on they told us that after 10 years in 1903 this and this happened. It may have diagrams or sidebars. If you remember the sketch, they showed us the sketch that Mary Anderson designed. That is the end of our lecture. Thank you a lot for watching. If you have any questions, please join me during our Zoom session.